You will see the crypto market like I do when you start viewing it from the perspective of other people. And this is what most people are failing to do. But I'm your friend, and we're going to talk about it today. You know, specifically, there is a different way other people look at investing, and crypto is discovering it in the world. We are the bleeding edge because we're such long duration. And when you have such a long duration asset, we're the longest duration asset in the world, by the way, the highest form of speculation. So just quickly, obviously, very, very short duration is like, you know, you can get a 1 month, 1 week treasury note bill, right? Very, very short-term security money. You know, you're not taking any risk. You'll get a couple of basis points for that. And as you stretch out time, it gets more risky. You go to 1 year, 2 year bond. You can start to move into stocks. You know, stocks can go, you know, 6 months to a couple of years, but there's more risk attached to that, right? And you have higher reward. But with stocks as well, most stocks, you have the meme about them is a balance sheet. So you can look at the cash flow coming in and you can have an idea of like, you know, okay, what are the dollars coming in and how do people value this stuff? They look at, you know, the PE ratio, their earnings, their free cash flow, all that stuff, you know. And then we have crypto. And crypto has no PE ratio. And if you try to invest based off a PE ratio, you will get absolutely slaughtered. Because people in here do not care about PE ratio. Why? Why? Because we're not an equity. That's why. We are not an equity. Gold, how much cash flow does gold give you? Nothing. Is it worth zero? No. How much cash flow does a barrel of oil give you? You know, is it worth zero? No. What about electricity? You're like, oh, okay, depends how far it's got to travel. Well, there you go. Now we're introducing elements of a commodity, and that's what crypto is. A lot of crypto is like that. But you're asking, okay, what's the commodity if you can just keep making different crypto? That's your logical question from that. And I will say the answer is the community. I always say this every single time. Mark my words. The community is the asset, not the code. You can't fork, you know, a group of 100,000 people supporting something. You can't fork that, man. You just can't. They tried to fork it with Bitcoin, you know, they made Bitcoin Cash. They forked it, go, hey, we're faster, you know. How many people move over? 0.5%. 99.5% still remained in normal Bitcoin, you know, standard Bitcoin. Because the community is there. Why is the community still there in Bitcoin? See, we can learn so much from this, man. You can deduce so much information. It's because of the Satoshi law. The Satoshi law is worth so much. He is literally a religious Jesus figure. He's somebody who invented something for mankind, put it together, wanted no fame, remained anonymous, tried to help people, educated people, and then disappeared. And he let it go into like free society. He didn't enrich himself that we know of. Could be dead by now, you know. That's, people love that story so much. It's literally, it's like Christianity, man. It's like Jesus comes, here, I'm dying for your sins. Here's some wine, here's some bread. Hang out, party. By the way, I've got to go, I've died for your sins. That type of stuff is applicable here to Bitcoin. And that is why its narrative it's going to go the whole way. But its returns are going to diminish. But it will still go the whole way. Because we're not early, man. Like, this isn't even the earliest chart. Like, it came out in 2010, you know? Like, we're 12 years now in bleeding edge technology when people find out about stuff in a day. Not even a day, man. We find out about information literally in like 1 minute, 60 seconds now. All across the world on Twitter. Information spreads fast. So people reach their fair value of what they think something is much quicker than what we did in the past, you know? So, we've already spoken about PE ratios, price to earnings. That's for stocks. And people who try to apply that to crypto, you get slaughtered. Go explain Doge. How much cash flow does Doge bring in? Nothing. It still made a higher low to Bitcoin. You know, so you have to think something else is going on here that people don't understand. But I understand it because I'm here 18 hours a day. That's why I'm giving literally the best content on Twitter. I don't know why. You guys should be following and watching every single thing I say. It's like 99% high value, 1% joke, and then back to high value again. All this stuff, you're not getting it anyway, man. People have these boring Twitters. They just type these words. They try to be funny. They're not. They're wasting everyone's time, man. We're here to learn. This is not going to last forever. You see this Bitcoin rally? You see this box? You're trying to catch it in crypto wave, okay? You don't know, man. We're probably like here in terms of like the long-term cycle. We're starting to slow down. Total crypto market's starting to slow down. It's going to keep going up, but we ain't going to get this, man. You see this? We're not going to get that anymore. So you have to be smarter and wiser. But you already are. If you're listening to me, you're coming to a source that's giving you different information. That's not saying come and leverage trade and lose everything. Come and do this and buy my ICOs. Like 2022 outed so many people, right? So we're looking at Bitcoin, and you understand this. You know that there's a law here. There's a story here. There's a narrative. The narrative is so powerful. So powerful, man. In fact, it is more powerful than the concept of making a price go up in your future, in your mind. And what I mean is people will place a higher value on this Satoshi law than they do, say, the opportunity to, sell a bit of your Bitcoin and buy something else that's going up. There is a big, strong, thick community of people. They're going to literally die on this hill. Satoshi, the anonymous person who came in, it speaks to a core human value of being humble, doing good for humanity, not enriching yourself and disappearing, and like not seeking out fame, and releasing an invention and doing things right and keeping everything stable like the source and simple. There's a human attribute. We love that story, don't we? We love that, that story. There's different stories that humans love, right? That's one of them. There's another one that's an underdog story. We love the underdog that comes from nothing against all odds. We love that type of story. We love the understory of like David versus Goliath. We absolutely love that story, right? Bitcoin has that as well. That was that at the start. We are David fighting Goliath. So that's why there are people still bag holding this shit. That's why, man. That's why. So I never look at someone holding Bitcoin and be like, don't judge them. Don't say you're stupid, whatever. Don't judge. We have to learn. We have to learn of each other. We have to learn so we can make better decisions. Because you've got a family. You have a future. You want to put yourself in a better position. You want to make decisions 1% better every month from here on, so that you compound and snowball into a much better financial position in the future. And hopefully you can help out your cousins, your friends, your families, your children, all this other stuff. All right? So we're literally making the world a better place. But to make the world a better place, first you got to work on yourself. You've got to make better decisions. There are people who saw this happening. Okay? They saw this Bitcoin rally. They saw this giant, enormous, infinite Bitcoin rally. Yeah, they saw it, 200x. And then they believed in the next one. Okay, they believed in the next one. And then you got 100x here. You got 100x. And that was enough to believe in this one. So they're going to keep holding on, right? Because remember, I know I am early. I've recognized this. I go, man, Bitcoin's diminished returns. It's now like so strikingly obvious. You are very blind and ignorant if you ignore this, right? But we can't look at other people and judge. I don't like doing that. You shouldn't. There's no benefit in that. You just have to observe with me, okay, why are they continuing to hold? Why are they, what is it about them they're continuing to hold? Is it because they don't want to take a loss? They don't want to admit that they got conned into the Bitcoin story? Not that they did, they just feel like that. Maybe there's a lot of factors. It might be really simple, man. They just love, it's very, very simple. Like, it's probably, they just love this, they love this story more than the number of the price go up, right? And they don't even know it. So basically humans, we're part of a tribe. The value of being in a tribe is more than, say, the fee of, what if Bitcoin only stops at 100K? What if it only breaks the high by, here you go, What if it only makes the high by 50%? What if we only get that? And then we start, you know? What if that happens? You have to think, man. This story, the law of Bitcoin, of Satoshi, is so powerful. It's overriding anyone's ability, even now, to think about the fear of being let down. They're like, I'm part of the tribe. Everyone's still, we're growing, we're taking over the world. We're putting our fists up, right? How does this story end? You know, it doesn't even really matter. It doesn't really matter. All that matters is we can identify the inflection point. This cycle was the inflection point compared to everything else. If it really wanted to go higher, I should have went higher. So now we have to understand that there are people who make decisions besides financial. So I can list for you some very famous people where you will see an absolute giant crowd of very feverish people buying their garbage, right? So maybe Kanye West, insanely popular. You know, you got Kim Kardashian. You know, you got the Kardashians. So many other famous people, like, or you know, all these other pop stars and all this stuff. They can do anything, man. You know, Brad Pitt in his prime, George Clooney. There's so many others, man. There's just all this. Anybody super famous, people form like a mental image in their head. They think they're part of their tribe, and they will pay whatever, man. You know. But Kanye West can go throw a shoe out on the street and sign it. Maybe someone will try, you know, people probably buy it, 5-10 grand. And then imagine he passes away mysteriously in the next year or two. How much is that shoe worth? It probably shoots up to like, you know, $300,000. You know, that stuff happens, man, just because these people are famous. And they're famous because people feel like they're part of the network effect. So they will pay whatever price. So they don't actually care about the dollar amount here. So, you know, when people buy their stuff, they don't say, well, you know what? Instead of buying Kanye West's shoe, I could have bought, you know, like Chainlink and made 30x of my money. No one's thinking like that. They don't care. They don't care. The thought of being in the tribe overrides all. It really overrides all. You know, because when you work for money, you are exchanging the fruits of your labor for a store of value in a currency. And people are willing to trade the currency, anything, for a famous person's item, memorabilia, right? Any of this. And Bitcoin is like that too. Bitcoin, that's why people feel compelled. This is why it becomes religious. Because you're working every day and you're literally siphoning your labor hours into this cause. So that's why Bitcoin will continue to go up. It's going to slide up over time. Going to go up smaller amounts, but it's going to go up over time. People feel that the Satoshi law made all the way years ago is so powerful that they believe it to their core. They're like, this guy is so much humility. He had so much patience. What a gift to the world he gave. It was like inventing the wheel, and he released it out for free into the wild. Wow, what a story. I will dedicate my life to this because it speaks like it's a good value to say teach children and, you know, communities, and you know what I mean? It's like a good human story. However, all human stories, you know, they have a beginning, middle, and an end. And the whole part of we're going to take over the world. So, yeah, I'll finish that statement. The whole part of we're going to take over the world in terms of you're going to all put your USD, right, into our Bitcoin. That narrative is slowing down. So, basically, you know, people label this as just speculators, right? The punters. Those people are now realizing, you know what, that part's slowing down. So, we're left with core religious believers. And these guys are great because they hold the prices up when we tank. You know, they do hold the prices up. But now you really have to think, are the speculators going to come back here? You know, does your life, because I want to ask you, does your life change if, like, okay, what value do you get in your life if you DCA bought Bitcoin and it gives you an 8x versus another coin that gives you 80x? What value difference do you have? That's not financial, you know? So you're like, okay, well, you know, one made 8x, the other made 80x, but I asked for what difference does it make if it's a non-financial value? What did you get out of it, you know? You'd probably feel like, you know, I own Bitcoin, it's cool. Because humans are simple, man. That's all we care about. It's cool. But why is it cool? You got to think, right? It's cool because people bought all the way back here who were buying off the Satoshi law. It stems back to the law, man. This law is so powerful. That's what it comes back down to. But as time goes on, we're diluting these people. We're diluting them. You only have these strong, hardcore believers. The speculators are gone. It's gonna really approach a fair value of just what the community's worth. And if the community doesn't have all these people onboarding value, it's gonna become more vanilla, more stable. Let's take a look at Ethereum, for example. Now, Ethereum, the network, is hyper growth compared to Bitcoin. Hyper growth. You're buying into, say, Vitaliks' vision, right? Of we're going to have an open platform, general purpose, smart contract blockchain. Everyone in the world can be able to build anything. You're not going to need this Apple App Store anymore. And we're actually going to have financial applications, which the world does need. And there's so much edge and alpha information there, right? And everyone's open to come use it. We're not going to kick anyone out. That's the vision as well. And yes, maybe we're not 100% decentralized. Maybe we're like 82%. But you get all these extra benefits, right? So that's why a lot of people, Bitcoin maxis, reject Ethereum. Because they say, no, Vitaliks' vision is not the same as Satoshi's vision. Because you guys sacrifice some decentralization and you're not anonymous. So people think like that, Now, if you're going to invest off that, obviously you know the answer already. You end up poor. You don't end up winning. You end up losing, right? Because you give more value. So you will give more value if you invest like that to networks that are big already and continuing to have diehard believers. So by definition, you're always on the tail end of growth. And obviously, the front end of the bell curve of growth is the switch from everyone thinks it's a scam to, we might change the world here. So you don't know if you're going to change the world, but people thinking we might change the world. That's the biggest growth. And this is going to slow down, and then probably this is going to slow down. Maybe Ethereum hits like 14K. Crypto moves so fast, man. We really have to make your decision. You don't have like years and years and years to think about this stuff. You might have like a window of like 12 to 24 months max during these bears. You got to figure it out much earlier. So we've explored some concepts about people value things differently, right? People value things differently. Well, look at Doge, man. Look, even like Dogecoin, you got to think, what is going through people's minds to buy? You know what? Let's just so you understand, you appreciate the. What was going through people's minds to buy this? Elon Musk said it's cool. But why were they buying it? If Elon Musk says it's cool, people think, yeah, I'm part of the cool tribe. I'm part of the cool thing now. So when you buy something and you hold, you always have to value the people in the community. Are they likely to think something else is cool in the future, or are they not? That's why Bitcoin is going to have very long-lasting value. The law is very powerful. I think the Satoshi story is still going to be relevant by the year 2030. But the fact that I can say that with confidence, that means the risk is really starting to diminish, which means your reward is starting to diminish. Now, some fun. What's Doge gonna be in 2030? You're like, oh my God, can you imagine Doge gets so big that there's like a Doge school? Maybe someone makes so much money off Doge, they start a school and they name stuff and there's a Doge community. Can you imagine that? There's a Doge and a SHIB theme park for kids. This is the stuff I'm thinking about. This is why these things are gonna go up in the future. Just the thought of these, if these sound like such a great idea, international logos, memes that take over the world, they're embedded into the human mind now. And obviously, most people still don't get it. Would I buy them? No. I still won't buy them because too many people know about them. Too many people know about them, and we're in crypto so much that I think we can go look at. This is the SHIB ETH ratio, by the way. I don't even think this is low enough. Give me a non-believer price like here. Give me that price. Now I'll be like, you know what? We're gonna kill it, friends, if we can get down here. But I don't know, maybe SHIB never gets down here, man. Maybe it's just, something's happening here. People are valuing something different. They're not valuing just number go up. They continue to hold. And the longer this bear market goes on, the closer it is to eventually finishing. And then you're gonna have to think, crap, man. How come in the nastiest bear market these things didn't go 95%? No one's asking this question. I am. I know the answer already. I've given it to you in this video. There's something different with the community. So, before you go and buy something, I want you to now think with me. How relevant are these guys going to be in 5 years? The type of people buying it. Are they shilling on YouTube? Do you have people shilling the network effect on YouTube, going on Twitter, aggressively staying diehard believers? Are they doing that? Is there a story that you can see relevant? Right? Is there a story? Because at the end of the day, the more people you get into your tribe, you win. That's it. Bitcoin is probably going to get so many more people into the tribe. But what type of people, you know? Is it going to be less financial speculators or more just hardcore believers? Because the hardcore believers will buy and they hold and, you know, they'll DCA you over time. You're probably going to have less euphoric flurries. Unless, of course, there's some sort of swan event where a country actually has to buy Bitcoin, start printing money. Maybe we see that in our lifetime. So, that part, you don't know, man. You'll be able to see it coming. You're able to see wild moves. And trust me, people are going to rotate out of Bitcoin and move to everything else anyway. You know? So, looking at a tribe here. Everything is a tribe. All of crypto is a tribe. Everybody's in their own little groups, their own little niches. You know, stock market people? Stock market people haven't even figured it out yet. They think, oh, I own a stock because this is a good company. They make, like, you know, heart pacemakers to help people. Okay? People who own the stock, they don't give a shit. They just pretend to. They just think, what's this Dogecoin, all these young kids with, like, face tattoos and, like, shaved heads and, you know, and, like, just weird clothing. They're the things associated with that. So they still don't get it yet. They still don't get it. You know? These people, they look at something like Ethereum and everything that's built off Ethereum, and they get disgusted because they're like, oh, you guys are only investing to make money. That's actually how they talk. Go and listen to Stock Market Boom and Ponzi. They just talk about, they use keywords like speculation and like excessive exuberance and stuff. That's all they say, man. You think stock market isn't that? Stock market is the king of that. It's been doing it for over 100 years. It's just that we found the better way to do it. And we are not limited by geographic location. So we can do so much more with getting people into the tribe. You know? So if you want to summarize a coin, before you enter it, you got to look at everything in your portfolio. You got to think, my coin is a tribe. And you want to ask, number 1, is my tribe recruiting members? Number 2, will my tribe still be delusional fanatics in 5 years, 10 years? Right, ask yourself these questions of the stuff you hold. You have to ask yourself these questions because no one's going to ask them for you. You got to ask yourself this question of all the coins we hold. And yeah, you don't have to know the complete answer. You know, definitely for number 1, is my tribe recruiting members? That is more important than the developers making a sick code that can do some mad swapping and all this junk. That's way more important. Have you noticed I didn't even write, is my coins tribe developers enhancing the applications? I didn't write any of that because that's freaking useless. Doge just proved it. People are completely discounting the commodity aspect of crypto, which is the community, the network effect, right? So you can just have a cardboard box, but if you gather enough people to believe in the box, you're gonna kill it. It's the same thing with stocks, same thing with everything else in this world, and crypto really is the frontier of that. It's just the stock market people that haven't figured it out yet, and that's good because when they do figure it out, it's too late, and there'll be better models of how to value this, you know. But that's why we're still so early. So I hope you learned something new from this message. Until next time, friends.